about any person may become great, hereditary and opportunity, the source of power, the mind of God, preparation, the social point of view, the individual point of view, consecration, identification, idealization, realization, hurry and habit, thought, action at home, action abroad, some further explanations, more about thought, Jesus' idea of greatness, a view of evolution, serving God, a mental exercise, a summary of the science of being great. There is that much to read, but we'll finish off the summary of the science of getting rich, and we'll open up the science of being great as a different book to read, and then we'll go from there. Love it. Very, very cool. It's been an absolute pleasure reading to you guys. Our next book will be this one again, just the second part, and then we will go on to we can have a look at like Manifest or the Infinite Game or something like that. We can try something different. All right, so there's the summary, chapter 17, summary of the science of getting rich. Let me have a sip of coffee first. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thoughts, and by impressing his thoughts upon formless substance can cause the thing that he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to creative mind, otherwise he cannot in harmony with a formless intelligence which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessing it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become, and he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision and in earnest giving, or thanksgiving rather, that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless, and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above, and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own when it shall come to him, man must be active, and this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image, and he must do every day all that he can be done, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man in use value in excess of cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life, and he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes into contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision and fixity of the purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Love reading this book. Really excited to get into the science of being great. Doesn't look like there's going to be a lot to read, and we could probably do this in one session. But yeah, amazing. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, send me some book recommendations if you want me to sit and read that. I'll put a list of books that I have. We've got things like the 5 AM Club, Screw It, Let's Do It. There's some more books from Richard Branson. There's a cool book from the CEO of Disney, or ex-CEO now, I think. There is The Deals That Made the World, which is crazy. The Infinite Game, Manifest, Get Over It. I don't think there's a couple others over there as well. And then I've got my Kindle on my tablet, which I'm happy to read from as well, which I think is what I'm going to be doing going forward. I've got the 48 Laws of Power, the Laws of War, and Mastery, which I think is a cool one as well. So those are a little bit more difficult for me to read for some reason. and I'm happy to slow it down a tad. But cool, really appreciated you guys, whoever's watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value, even if it was one thing. I think the most important thing to remember here is that there is enough for everybody, more than enough. And so you can go on living your life not in envy or anything like that, or being jealous. It's that you can create whatever idea you have in your mind. One thing I will say that will help a lot bring visions to life is to actually go and experience the things that you can't imagine. So traveling, for example, something that I always imagined, but I couldn't imagine it because I'd never done it until I did. And I can only imagine traveling in a certain way because of the way that I've traveled before. I can only do business in a certain way based on the way of business I've been doing before. I didn't know what it was like to eat at a fine dining restaurant until I did. And then eating at a fine dining restaurant lately is just shit. And I don't mean to be ungrateful about that, but sometimes we make better food at home. But it's about the experience, I guess. And then, like this weekend, we're going to a car show where we're going to get to test drive some nice cars that we like. But it's like touching the dream, right? Going out, and when you write down the vision, your vision can expand by actually going out and going to test it, right? But cool. I'll let you guys go. Dave, what's up? Yeah, come on, yeah. Donkey. We'll chat again. Cheers.